Republican Senator Mitt Romney and his decision to convict President Trump on that one article. Just in from the chairwoman of the RNC, and of course she is the niece of Senator Romney. This is Ronna McDaniel saying, "This is not the first time I have disagreed with Mitt, and I imagine it will not be the last. The bottom line is President Trump did nothing wrong, and the Republican Party is more united than ever behind him. I, along with the GOP, stand with President Trump." And that is from the daughter of Mitt Romney's own brother, of course. That's why she's the niece. Let's bring in Marc Thiessen. He's a Fox News contributor, American Enterprise Institute fellow, and former White House speechwriter for President George W. Bush. So we're going to talk about State of the Union, but of course now we have this news, Mark, and
sure.
you know, as your podcast says, what the H is going on. We now know that that you can imagine that the RNC chairperson, even though she's related to Mitt Romney, would say something like that defending the president. He had a very different take. He said it was the most difficult decision of his life. He hasn't slept past 4 a.m. in months, and that he said that it was grievously wrong what the president did, and that he also knew that this was going to have tremendous consequences and blowback from the Republicans against him.
Yeah, first of all, I don't doubt his sincerity in coming to this decision, but look, he said he's embracing for blowback. The best thing that President Trump can do is just simply ignore him. The story of the day is Donald Trump's acquittal on these charges, and he should not fuel the media's interest in distracting from that and making Mitt Romney the story of the day by attacking him. And you know, it's interesting in listening to the interview and also his statement on the floor. He said, "I know I'm in the minority in the Senate." He's not just in the minority in the Senate; he's in the minority in the country. If you look at the Gallup poll that just came out, when this impeachment inquiry started back in October of last year, 39% of Americans approved of Donald Trump's performance. That has risen 10 points to 49%, an all-time high for the president. In October, when the impeachment inquiry started, 46%, only 46% said Trump should not be removed from office. Today, 52% majority. At the start of the impeachment inquiry in October, 41% of Americans said that Trump should be reelected. Now it's 50%.
Right.
So the entire process of the impeachment inquiry, everybody looking at the same evidence, the same testimony, the same presentations as Mitt Romney, the majority of Americans have come to the opposite conclusion of him. He's irrelevant. Ignore him. Trump's being acquitted.
Well, and the president also had the Gallup numbers about the economy, and you saw the Democrats last night sitting on their hands, not wanting to clap for things that are just facts. It is the lowest unemployment. It is the highest employment for African Americans and Hispanics. Like those are just facts, and yet the partisan atmosphere last night was really thick. You could almost feel it blocks away.
No, it's unbelievable. And look, you know, Dana, you and I worked in the White House. We worked on State of the Union addresses. One of the things, you know, everybody saw the image of Nancy Pelosi tearing up the speech, which in and of itself was petulant and insulting, not just to the president, but to the people mentioned in the speech. But what I noticed immediately was the tradition is when the president is introduced to the House chamber, every speaker from the beginning of the State of the Union address being a televised address says, members of Congress, it is my high honor and distinct privilege to introduce the President of the United States. She wouldn't even say that.
She didn't do that.
It's
what do you think, though, Mark?
Not the person of the president, the office.
What do you think about, you know, there's that video. She accepts the speech. She reaches out her hand, and he doesn't shake it. Some people say he didn't see it, but, you know, she almost had the upper hand there.
Well, he also didn't shake Mike Pence's hand. He handed her the speech. It's possible he didn't see it.
He sees Mike Pence all the time. He sees Mike Pence all the time. I don't know if that's a tradition.
I guess so, yeah. I mean, if he didn't shake her hand, he should have shook her hand.
You know, Chris Wallace reported that Pelosi and Trump have not actually spoken to each other since October when they had their last dust-up. So there's a broken relationship for sure. You know, Marc Thiessen, go ahead, last word.
All right. No, just I think that he showed incredible discipline yesterday. Yes. He didn't mention impeachment.
No.
He could have started out by saying, "and still the President of the United States," and that would have gotten a huge applause.
Yeah, I was waiting for something funny. I was waiting for it, but you're right. Yeah. He avoided it altogether. All right, up next, our all-star panel weighs in on Romney's decision to convict.